It's Kopa Real Estate story time. It's Thursday, April 16th. We've had a great week so far. I just got done showing this our listing over here at Heritage Oaks to an unrepresented buyer, somebody who said he doesn't have a real estate agent. So thought I'd take an opportunity to update you about our week. We've had a lot of activity. Did have one home go under contract in Avery Ranch. It's a good story. The wife had come with a showing with their agent. Husband couldn't make it. We had an open house on Saturday. He was able to come. I was able to talk to him for quite a while. Now we're under contract, so it's a great house. Happy story for everybody. Now we're good for them for acting on it. Now we're getting other agents wanting to reach out to us and possibly make an offer, but the home's already under contract. We also have another new listing, single story in Oak Brook, coming on the market this week. So it's a beautiful house, and we'll have an open house this Saturday from 2 to 4. Some of them were interesting stories that I thought at least were interesting. I got a call from a woman. She had bought a house for her daughter to live in. Daughter moved out in 2022. They talked to a realtor at that time and asked him if it was a good time to sell. And that realtor told them, no, the market's a terrible time to sell the house, but they could have sold the house at that point for $100,000 more than what it's worth today. Both of these things can be true. It can be a terrible time to sell the house and still a time to sell the house for more than it would sell for in the future. And a lot of the projections for our areas, homes will be worth less money a year from now. At least, who knows if that's going to be true. So when somebody calls me and asks me if it's a good time to put their home on the market, how's the market, questions like that, it's really not a question that I can answer that easily for anybody because there's a lot more that goes into it. I also want to tell you a story about a woman that came to my last home selling seminar, and she told me that they've owned this rental property. They bought it and it was worth whatever it was a couple of years ago, and now it's worth a whole lot less. Her husband's having heart problems because of dealing with tenants and dealing with the maintenance in the property. So she asked me if they should sell the house. And I don't mean to make light of it, but I'll tell you something. If anything in your life is giving you this much abuse, this much trouble that you're having heart problems, you probably want to get rid of it. When we looked at what other homes on the street have been selling for, of course, the sales prices, as a lot of times is happening, is less than what they thought it would be. And so I think they're going to continue this abusive relationship with that house. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but again, this goes back into, should I sell the house? Should I not? I don't know. You've got to look at this holistically. They're not making any money on the house. So I think that's more of the important question is they'd be much better off getting their equity out of that house, not dealing with any heart problems and just moving on with their life. What have we seen happening? I've been telling everybody, it's going to be a tricky year to gauge the inventory because of spring break and then the Easter break as well, with a lot of people holding off on listings. And I've seen some people reporting, it looks like the line between 2026 listings and 2025 are about even, or maybe 2026 was ticking a little bit below in some areas. And so that is true up until last week. And you can look at, I just pulled up a report for Cedar Park here and looking at it, and it's about the same as what it was last year. But in reality, we're looking at there being about another 30 homes on the market as of when my software gets updated tomorrow on the 17th. You're going to see that this graph is already starting to increase. And that's what I've warned everybody about, putting their home on the market earlier in the year versus waiting until now. So we'll have to see how these homes get absorbed, right? In Cedar Park over the last week, 32 new listings, 16 had gone under contract as of today. So that's how the inventory builds, both in terms of new listings coming on the market, but also when those listings aren't selling. That's how you'll see that increase go up there. We did see interest rates decrease down to about 6.3% for about the last 4 weeks. So that's a good sign, right? Stock market, of course, went crazy. So if you haven't looked at your 401k, you can actually look at it today. Stock market's gone up about 10% in the last 10 days or so. My opinion is always a lot of the buyers in our area, get nervous about the stock market. They're pulling out money from the stock market to buy a house. So people just generally feel better when the stock market's set closer to an all-time high than after it's down 10%. Hopefully that's a good sign for the rest of the spring market. All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was informative to you. Let me know what you'd like to see me talk about in future videos, and we appreciate your support.